10 years ago, I took a big risk and left my cushy corporate job at a major TV network to strike out on my own. That required a huge leap of faith in becoming my own boss. But since then, I've gone from free agent newbie to attracting a free-flowing stream of high-profile projects that have backed up my expertise in this wild, unpredictable world of finance. I'm Nicole Lapin, New York Times bestselling author of Rich Bitch and the host of Money Rehab with Nicole Lapin, iHeart's daily finance show. And I am so excited to walk you through this course, which is designed to teach you the very lessons I wish I had that helped me thrive outside of a traditional work environment. So what do you need to know as a freelancer? Well, here we're gonna cover everything from how to book your first gig, to market your offerings, to what to know about finances as a freelancer, plus pointers on setting boundaries, getting paid, and maintaining work-life balance. Come along with me as I teach you all things Freelance 101, brought to you by Lili, the first banking app designed specifically for freelancers. Working for yourself has perks, of course. I mean, you call the shots, you decide on your work hours, and you even make the dress code. But there's still a lot of unknown territory to navigate. While freelancing is becoming a preferred career choice for so many workers, there's no easy guide, no easy roadmap to help you get started. Well, until now. My first piece of advice for anyone new to flying solo is to get really clear on what you're gonna offer to the world. So narrow down the skill set or service that you wanna provide to prospective clients. Spend some time really considering how your values, your niche, and your mission then relate to your product. Because remember, you can't start marketing yourself unless you have this piece of the puzzle in place. Another way to kickstart a freelance mindset is to set some goals. Get clear on what you want in the short term and in the long term. Are you doing a freelance trial period, or are you actually hoping to pivot into a fully freelance career? Who do you think your dream clients are gonna be? What does success really look like to you? Jot all of that down, tape it to the wall by your desk or computer if you want to, so that you can always remember what you're trying to accomplish and what you're working toward. Adopting a freelance mindset also means you're able to anticipate challenges so you won't be blindsided as they come up along your journey, because they will. The freelance lifestyle may look glamorous from the outside, but the truth is you won't always be taking calls from the beach. So let's break down some essential tips for starting your entrepreneurial practice off on the right foot. Let's start with your work from home setup. Working from home might sound ideal, but as we've seen in the last year or so, it's really hard. Working in the same location as you watch TV with your roomies or your partner means there's no physical, obvious boundary between work and play. So here are 3 ways to make that distinction clear. First, actually get dressed. I know it might sound silly, but switching from jammies into something more Zoom-friendly will actually help you switch your mindset into work mode. Number 2, keep your workspace separate from everything else in your home. I mean, hey, you might actually be able to deduct some of your rent or your mortgage as well come tax season if you have a space that's exclusively for business purposes, meaning, sorry, your dining room table doesn't count. Number 3, set up your own business hours and stay disciplined to them. It's an easy way to hold yourself accountable and avoid procrastination on one hand, or working more hours than you're getting paid for on the other. Now is also a great time to touch upon the emotional side of being a freelancer. You'll fly sky high on days where you book new gigs that you're passionate about. But there can also be down periods in which you have 0 projects booked that you have any comfort in. Developing your own mindful practices that boosts your confidence and keeps your anxiety low is essential to succeeding in this freelancer space. Here are a few tips on how to do just that. First, check in with yourself. If you notice your stress increasing, don't let it go unchecked, especially if you're working alone. You'll want to be extra tuned in to any ebbs and flows in how you're feeling. Second, move your body. Seriously, take client calls just walking around the block or doing work meetings as you're walking to the grocery store. Build in 10-minute breaks on your day where you're not scrolling through Instagram mindlessly, but instead stretch, get outside, get some fresh air. Next, take a breath. If you ever find yourself juggling so much that you can't clear your mind, then try to just slow everything down and focus on your breath. Next, write things down. Finding your own system for keeping yourself organized is going to save you as a freelancer. Whether you use a task management tool like Asana or you keep an old school notebook, keep your to-do lists in one place so that you can track it every day. I'm a huge fan of journaling. I'm a huge fan of journaling through my emotions as well. So when things get hectic, you have a place to go. You have a place where you can store your thoughts and your feelings, and you write down what's on your mind. Also, fill your downtime with productive work. Reach out for new business, manage paperwork, improve your processes or systems, clean your workspace if you have to, all the to-do list items that you never really get to when you're busy. And find small ways to treat yourself. Turn on your favorite playlist, dance to, light a candle, stream your favorite sitcom for a quick mood boost to remind yourself that there are fun and beautiful things around you in the world. If you ever feel your self-confidence waver, remind yourself of the courage it took to go down this path in the first place. And lucky for you, you've got this handy guide backing you up every step of the way. One of the most crucial components of finding success and sustainability as a freelancer is getting your finances in order. Don't go selling yourself short as you jump into the freelance world, and rather start thinking about what you deserve to earn. Okay, cool. Now that we're on the same page, we got that out of the way, let's talk about some common financial pain points that freelancers experience and the tools that can help. While the journey for a freelancer can look quite different across industries, the financial questions are often the same. How can I keep my business expenses separate from my personal expenses? What are the tax implications of being self-employed? How do I keep track of my invoices or receipts from my business and my costs and more? I recently discovered one tool that can really help you navigate through all of these questions. It's called Lili, a banking app specifically created for freelancers in mind. Lili offers both a free and a pro account for $4.99. It's the cost of a coffee a month, with additional benefits and features like 1% interest on your savings and cashback rewards. Once you download the app and sign up, you can use Lili in pretty much every aspect of your freelancer's financial journey. For starters, it's a free tool for managing expenses, and that means you can keep your personal and your business expenses separate, but all in the same account. All you have to do is swipe left for personal, right for business, and up for a little bit of both. You can upload pictures of your receipts in real time, so that way everything is organized and simple, so you never worry about losing a receipt ever again. Lili even sorts through all of your expenses for a quarterly and yearly breakdown, so no need to waste extra time in Excel spreadsheets around tax season. Speaking of taxes, freelancers often forget they need to save a portion of their income to cover their self-employment and income taxes, since it's not withheld like it would be at a normal corporate job. Lili helps you determine what percentage of your income you should set aside, and then automatically transfers it into your tax bucket every time you get paid. So set it up once and you never have to think about it ever again. Note that the money remains available to you still at all times if you ever need it. You just need to move it back into your main balance, which only takes a few seconds. All Lili accounts have no minimum balance requirements, and if you're a Lili Pro account holder, you get overdraft protection up to $200. My favorite perk with the Lili Pro membership is that you can create, send, and manage unlimited invoices directly from the app, and even accept direct payments from your clients so that you get paid on time, which is key, and all of it is organized in one easy place. Ultimately, this app is there to save you time and money, which I am all about, because time is money, and money, by the way, isn't your most valuable asset, especially as a freelancer. It is time. You can't get it back. So with that support in your back pocket, let's talk about another area that tends to trip freelancers up, and that's business expenses. So what constitutes a business expense? Well, the IRS says that a business expense must be, quote, necessary and ordinary. So what the heck does that mean? Well, here are some general guidelines around what can count as a business expense, but of course, remember, this is tax advice, so always refer to a CPA or even the IRS website to determine your personal situation. First, hardware and software. This means your computer, of course, your laptop, your tablet, your smartphone, printer, mouse, keyboard, subscription to software and other services like Microsoft, Adobe, Google, Workspace, all that jazz. Your cell phone bill, so anything and everything that you use when your computer screen is on can count in this bucket. Second, office expenses. So think pens or pencils, paper, envelopes, all that kind of stuff, notebooks, staplers. If you're more old school, all of your office supplies are still tax deductible. Third, subscription and dues. So this could be a magazine subscription. It could be a membership to a video streaming service. I mean, whatever you spend to stay up to date with design, entertainment, trends that are really important to your line of work are all part of work expenses. Next, marketing materials. So that would include domain registration, website hosting, themes, stock photos, flyers, posters, business cards, advertising fees. You are what you show. So all of your marketing materials are tax deductible. Also, your work from home expenses. If a part of your home is your main place of work and is used exclusively for that purpose, remember the dining room table doesn't count, you can deduct the percentage of that space on your rent or mortgage. The IRS also offers a simplified option for this, which is $5 per square foot. It's capped at 300 square feet. So your desk, your furniture, your decor, plus a portion of your utility bills, don't forget that, and insurance can also count as work expenses. And client meetings. If you meet clients face-to-face at a restaurant or coffee shop, 50% of the costs of food and drinks in front of you are all tax deductible. Transportation. No matter the vehicle you use to go meet a client, whether it's a car, a train, a scooter, a plane, a hoverboard, and whatever you spent to get that vehicle or make that vehicle move is a work expense. If you use your personal car, don't forget to track your mileage and look into how much you can deduct per mile for the current year. Classes and training. Did you learn new skills to be more efficient or expand your offering? Well, these expenses are tax deductible as well. Health insurance. You gotta be in good health to do your business, right? You are your business card if you're a freelancer. So all of your health expenses, your premium, some of your out-of-pocket expenses, dental, vision, all tax deductible, except if you're covered under somebody else's plan, like a spouse or a relative. Finally, business trips. If you travel more than 100 miles away from your home to meet a client or for a conference, the whole trip counts as a business trip. Therefore, all of your expenses incurred are tax deductible. Your hotel, your flights, and 50% of your meals. Deep breath. Now that you're feeling smarter when it comes to your freelance funds, let's move on to Chapter 3 on establishing your rate and getting paid. I'd like to begin with a term I call rich enough, which is essentially the number you need to have your basic living expenses covered with no frills. So the ramen diet, the brown rice and beans diet, just the basics. So calculate your rich enough number by looking at your monthly living expenses. These expenses are at the core of what you need to survive. That includes your rent or mortgage, your bills for utilities, cell phone, insurance, transportation, food, healthcare, and child and pet costs if applicable, and a little bit of savings if you can. This number together equals your monthly burn. So take that number and multiply it by 12, and that's the minimum amount you need to cover your expenses in a year. An important note here that you'll want to aim for more than that number as a freelancer because of the taxes you're going to need to pay back from your earnings. More on that in just a sec. Now, whatever level of wealth you aspire to have is totally up to you. It's your life, not mine. But if you want a nice money cushion that's more than the basic expenditures, which is what I call moving up a tier from rich enough to pretty rich, then be sure to capture anything outside your base monthly expenses. So how much you'd set aside for clothes or dining or gym memberships, subscriptions, beauty treatments, mani-pedis, travel, anything that does it for you each month to better understand your additional annual burn. With those base concrete numbers in mind, we can shift into taxes. I know you're excited, which is honestly the biggest headache for all the freelancers I know. But stick with me, we will get through this together, I promise. As a freelancer, dealing with taxes is going to be part of your job. That's the reality all year long, because calculating what you owe and physically mailing those checks falls on you. The most important thing to remember is that as a freelancer, you should plan to set aside 25 to 30% of your taxable freelance income to pay your quarterly taxes. Keep watching this chapter to see where that 25 to 30% comes from, plus how to calculate exactly what you'd owe. There are two key types of taxes that you pay as a freelancer: self-employment tax and income tax. Self-employment tax covers your Social Security and Medicare contribution that would be automatically taken out of your paycheck if you were a full-time employee. The self-employment tax stipulates that you owe 15.3%. That's 12.4% for your Social Security contribution and 2.9% for your Medicare contribution. Income tax is calculated based on your taxable income. Here's how to do that. First, identify your net earnings. What the heck are net earnings? Well, it's your gross income minus your business expenses. Your net earnings are your profit as an individual from your freelance work. All of your tax calculations start with this number. As an example, if you made $85,000 from your freelance business and all of your business expenses add up to $15,000, that means your net earnings are $70,000. Next, determine your adjusted gross income, or AGI. To do this, subtract specific deductions called above-the-line deductions from your net earnings. Above-the-line deductions include contributions to retirement accounts, student loan interest payments, health insurance premiums for individual plans, and 50% of your self-employed taxes. Using the earlier numbers, let's also say that you contributed $2,000 to an IRA, you spent $3,000 on a healthcare plan, and you paid $1,500 in interest on your student loans. Add that to 50% of your self-employment taxes. So your AGI equals $70,000, your net earnings, remember, minus $2,000 plus $3,000 plus $1,500 plus $9,891, $58,554. Next, calculate your taxable income, which equals your AGI minus below-the-line deductions. The IRS offers a simple option, which is to deduct a flat amount called the standard deduction based on your filing status. So based on 2020 tax figures, if you're filing as a single individual versus married, the standard deduction is $12,400. So take your AGI of $58,554 and subtract $12,400 to get $46,154, aka your taxable income. Now that you've unlocked this number, the final step is to review the tax bracket and see where you'd fall with $46,154. In 2020, that would put you in the 22% tax bracket. The last item to note is that the US tax system is progressive. That basically means that you don't pay 22% on all of your taxable income. It's tiered. For more in-depth info, head to Lili.co for a refresher on this or how to get an estimate of your tax liability in just a few clicks. Now that you have a good sense of your tax liability and living expenses, you can finally determine your freelance rate on an hourly and daily basis. Once you know what you want to charge for your services, the next step is figuring out how to get paid on time. When you work for different clients, you're dealing with so many different payroll services and payment methods and payment practices, so you need to be prepared for that. Getting paid is a recurring pain point, and most freelancers have some crazy horror story regarding late payments or totally getting jilted on payment. There are a few things you can do to make sure that that doesn't happen to you. First, write things down and know your rights. A lot of freelancers start working without a contract. While it's usually fine for big companies or clients that you might already know, you really should request a contract before investing major time or effort in any new project. At the very least, make sure to send an email where you lay out all the specific terms, so the financials and the deliverables and the dates and all that, and ask the client to approve. If they respond in the affirmative, you basically have a written record of that agreement. Number 2, invoice immediately. If you don't invoice, your client is not gonna know how to pay you. It's just as simple as that. So do your part and send your invoice as soon as the work is completed and approved. Make sure to note the date of your invoice and some language regarding the payment deadline. So either repeat what's in your contract, or if you're working without a contract, add a basic line like payment due within 30 business days. If you invoice with Lili, you can resend your invoice in just one click. No need to hunt it down on your laptop or in your mailbox. Number 3, check in often. If the money doesn't come in on time, make sure to send follow-up emails for a written record and make phone calls for the human pressure aspect. When payment is late, it's most often due to a communication error. So don't go DEFCON 5 immediately and say you're going to call your lawyer or something. But make sure to stay on top of the client and remind them of their deadline. If this client is known to be a late payer, or if you have concerns off the bat, you can always ask for a percentage up front. Number 4, accept all forms of payment. Every client is different, so try to be flexible and make it easy for everyone, and they'll appreciate you for it. Let them know that you accept PayPal, Cash App, Venmo, checks, direct deposit, all the things. The good news for you is that all of these payments are compatible with your Lili account. A quick word on negotiation. Whenever you have a work opportunity come up that isn't in line with your day rate or your project rate, do not forget to negotiate. If you do not ask, the answer is always no. Remember, you set your rate to not only match your skill level and years of experience, but also to uphold a standard of living for yourself. So don't shy away from asking for a rate that really feels fair for that job. Unless it's a dream client that could potentially help you unlock additional gigs by just being in your portfolio, I'd never recommend taking something for less than your worth. It's just that simple. If you're new to freelancing, you might ask yourself, well, how do I market myself and find new clients? Here's my advice on how to make your first contacts with new clients and foster those relationships into recurring gigs. Step 1, make it official with a website. No matter how much or how little work you have to show for yourself just yet, it's crucial to have a portfolio or a website to legitimize the skill that you're bringing to the table and wanting to market to others for job opportunities. If there are any high-profile projects that you've worked on in the past, then pick a few examples to showcase your experience. If you're turning up a little short on how to illustrate your services, that's okay. I would suggest to offer your services in kind or at a discount rate to friends or family so that you can beef up your portfolio with real-world case studies, examples, and photos. This way, when you're out pitching your services, potential clients can feel more confident in trusting you with an assignment, especially if it's a new relationship. Step 2. Announce your new career pivot to the world. If you're striking out on your own, go on your social feeds, let all the folks know that you are now available for some new work. Be specific, though, about the types of projects and the types of clients you're passionate about serving, and see who knows somebody who's in need of that. Also, go through your contact list, not just on social, but look through your email contact list and send a note to anybody you might have worked with in the past in search of new leads. Putting out an ask like that is not a sign of weakness. It's actually a sign of strength. I mean, if anything, it's great advertising for yourself, and people who've worked with you previously can vouch for your expertise and your professionalism and help you book future projects. Platforms like Fiverr and Upwork also help connect freelancers to potential clients and projects across a myriad of different industries. So if your own network is a little bit small or tapped, then try to list yourself on those websites or search for a job on those sites that you'd be great for. Once you start booking new work, it's really important to keep your relationships warm. Remind clients that you're still out there by sending them little notes for their birthday or a holiday greeting card or seasonal emails. That way you can keep them apprised of your willingness to accept new work. If they don't have any projects to offer you at that moment, they may know someone who does, and then you'd be top of mind for that opportunity. One way I like to keep a relationship warm is after I wrap up a big project, or if I just met an important business contact, I send a little box of those roses that don't die for a year. I used to send actual roses, but they would die very quickly, and then presumably those folks would forget about me. Hopefully they didn't. But this ensures that they don't, because they're there, hopefully on their desk or somewhere in their office. So I'm imagining when they have a project come up, they see those roses and they think of me. Hopefully that's why I have recurring business. You can copy my rose example. I don't mind at all. The more roses, the merrier out there. But I would really suggest to find your own little gift at the end of projects to wrap it up, and hopefully something that is memorable and that the recipient doesn't throw out, so that they don't throw you out of their mind. Building community is also so important. Being a freelancer can often be very lonely. So finding others who are on the similar path can make a huge difference in your overall satisfaction and happiness in this world. Co-working spaces, virtual communities, and meetup groups are a great place to look for fellow freelancers to connect with. We touched on this earlier, but the realities of #freelance life aren't always peachy keen. As empowering as it is to be your own boss, knowing how to pace your projects and give yourself a break can be challenging, especially when you're first feeling out how much work you can actually handle. Don't forget to treat yourself and take some time off. People often believe freelancers work whenever they feel like it, but the truth is freelancers work when they get work. Any freelancer is familiar with the long weeks of radio silence from their clients. These weeks almost never feel like time off, but rather like a slow buildup of more and more stress. We also know this period can come to an end with one single email with an offer for work. And of course, that email often requires you to be available the very next day. So if you're backpacking across Europe or something, there goes your payday. The unpredictability of freelance life can make it extremely difficult to plan a vacation or some time off. There are, of course, no easy solutions, but that doesn't mean a freelancer shouldn't take time off. Vacations are not only healthy for the body, soul, and family dynamics, but they're also an important part of life, and they will make you even better at your job. So here are a few tips to help you really enjoy your time off and find that time on, time off balance. Number 1, plan around big projects. If you know a big project is coming up, plan a vacation the week before. You won't be stressed about money or missing out on an opportunity because you know you have a gig waiting for you when you clock back in. If you're in the middle of a big project with a clear end date in sight, then make a vacation for the week right after. You'll probably need a break, and with the paycheck coming in, you won't have an account balance in the back of your mind the entire time. Next, talk to your clients. Even though you're not on payroll per se, your regular clients often see you as part of their team. So ask them when their slowest time of year is to make them feel like you're working with them and you want to find a time that works for everyone. Also, give yourself some breathing room. Determine how much money you need to take a week or two off and then double it. With double the money in the bank, you'll be able to enjoy your vacation time more, knowing that you have some time covered to figure out your next gig when you get back. Then do whatever you need to do to reach that goal quickly. Start working as much as you can, pound that pavement, say no to nothing, and start saving money for your vacation. Finally, don't take a guilt trip. If you get an offer for the 1 week you're out of town, do not cancel your plans and beat yourself up. There was no way for you to know that. Simply inform your potential client that you won't be available, and no need to tell them why. Every good relationship benefits from a little mystery, and be sure to let them know the exact date you're available again. Maybe they have something else coming up down the line. Maybe their timeline is flexible. You never know what's happening on their end unless you ask. Then follow up when you're back, but not before, because remember, you're on vacation. It's a vacation you deserve. Freelancing life is hard, and you put extra effort into it, including with this class. I am so proud of you. You made it to the end of this course. You're one step closer to the freelance career of your dreams. We hope that all of this information on mindset, finances, and work-life balance really helps you feel ready to take the step into the courageous, fulfilling path you're destined for. Class dismissed.